Please remain standing for the pledge and the Star-Spangled Banner. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Please remain standing. I would like to introduce Reverend Edward Johnston, who will deliver the invocation. Reverend Johnston?
Let us pray. We thank you, O God, for the doors that you are opening for these young men and women this day, for the new and wide horizons which you are setting before them, leading to ever-increasing lives of usefulness. Give them the courage to go through the door, setting aside prejudices and fears, that they may walk the broad highway of your truth. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Johnston. Please be seated. Welcome to the Rye High School 56th Annual Graduation Program and Ceremony. Yesterday, I was afraid we'd have this ceremony in the gymnasium, but the Lord smiled on us and gave us a sunny, or partly sunny day. I'd like to, at the very beginning of the program, introduce the guests that we have with us today on the podium. Dr. Barry Farnham, our Superintendent of Schools, to my left. Dr. Farnham. The Assistant Superintendent of Schools, Mr. William Barrett, on my far right. Mr. George Cowan, our Assistant Principal. Reverend Edward Johnston, who not only is the rector of Christ Church in Rye, but the parent of one of our graduates. Reverend Johnston. Members of the Board of Education, the President, James McGrath, also who has a daughter in the class. Mrs. Ellen Adams. Board Member Ann Bashur. Mrs. Ann Idzik. Dr. Elizabeth Johnson. Eric Langlow. William Leary. Member-elect Robert Connor. Martin Edelman, former board member and the father of one of these graduates. Also on the podium, John Ogilvie, president of the junior class, who is our marshal. Dr. Willis Bott, a guest today. He's the principal of the middle school, and I believe he had these youngsters, these young people, a number of years ago. Barbara Arzanetti, Director of Special Education. I'd hoped we'd have Trish Movoy here. Is she here on the podium with us? Trish? Well, she is the president of the Parents Organization and an invited and honored guest today. We also have retirees we'll be honoring later. Henry Dawson. Please stand. Freddie Folan. Margaret Dale. And Bill Goldfarb. One of our special speakers, Mr. David Wickstead. Margaret Flanagan, our class advisor and an honored guest today. And one of the most delightful faculties I have ever had the privilege of working with behind me. At this point, I would like to introduce Dr. Barry Farnham, Superintendent of Schools, who will bring greetings and commendations to this class of 1987. Dr. Farnham.
First of all, greetings to the members of the audience and commendations to the members of the class. Commendations to each of you from all of us in Rye as you graduate to pursue your dreams wherever they may lie. Your teachers especially deserve commendations for jobs well done with you. Hopefully a lifelong love of learning they did with you imbue. The other staff who have watched you grow over 4 years at RHS are deserving of mention for their special help at ensuring your success. Commendations, too, to your parents and friends gathered here today to wish you well as you leave our midst on this June graduation day. You should know that those who you'll leave behind feel way down deep inside that after you go, whatever you do, you'll always be our Garnet pride. So wherever you travel beyond today, occasionally do come back to a place called Rye in Westchester County, the home of the Garnet and Black.
That will be a very tough act to follow. I'm responsible for the weather. My speeches won't be nearly as flowery. I'd like to now ask 4 faculty to come forward, members of the staff and faculty. Mr. Henry Dawson, Mrs. Margaret Dale, Mrs. Freddie Folan, and Mr. William Goldfarb. Please come down here. Hank? You can face out front here. 4 members of the Rye High School faculty and staff are being honored today at our graduation ceremony. I would like to tell you a little bit about them and honor them here publicly for the service that they have given to this student body, former student bodies, and this community. On my left, Henry A. Dawson, Jr., better known as Hank, has been a teacher in the Rye Public Schools for what I think is 34 years. All right? That's before my time. Hank Dawson began his teaching career in the fall of 1953. He initially taught 6th grade at Midland School. In 1955, he came to the secondary school and began teaching 7th and 8th grade math in the middle school. He has continued to teach at the Rye Middle and High School, with his assignment falling almost exclusively in the high school in 1967. During those years, he served in the extracurricular life of the school as tennis coach, track coach, central treasurer, advisor to the Interact Club, and coordinator of homebound instruction, to mention only a few of the responsibilities that he assumed over those years. He's been a past president of the RTA, a past president of the faculty club, and has served the school, his colleagues, and the students in a variety of capacities. Hank and his wife Nancy look forward to a retirement in Punta Gorda, Florida. We thank him for his many years of service, and we wish him many happy and prosperous years in his retirement down south. Thank you, Hank. Our next retiree is Margaret Dale to my right. Margaret has been a school nurse teacher at Rye High School since the fall of 1966, right? Right. She has been administering to the needs of our students in grades 7 through 12 during these last 21 years. Margaret is a graduate of Syracuse University, where she earned a BS in nursing and has provided wonderfully for the health needs of our children. Margaret's total service to the children of Rye is 26 years, 21 at Rye High School and 5 at the Resurrection School. Her role in arranging for sports physicals, caring for sick children in the schools, and contacting parents over the years have brought many of you into contact with her. We wish Margaret and her husband Dick many years of happiness in their retirement. Margaret? Frederica Folan, better known as Freddie, to students, parents, and staff, will retire this July 31st after 26 years of service to the Rye Public Schools. Freddie has served as our receptionist and switchboard operator and probably knows every phone number in Rye over the last 26 years. She has seen and heard it all during those 26 years, and she's even authored a book printed by the Parents Organization. What was the name of that? Who Called? It was called Who Called? And that's full of anecdotes about students and their parents. A few years ago, the students dedicated their yearbook to Mrs. Folan as a tribute to her service and her dedication to the children. In addition to her job of receptionist and switchboard operator, she has performed thousands of other important tasks in the high school. She's measured seniors and faculty for caps and gowns over the years. She's ordered the gowns, collected the rental fees, and even collected those codes of conduct, which must be signed by the seniors prior to graduation. She's very organized, thorough, and has nudged the faculty when they are late getting things in. And she performs a million other tasks every day that make the high school run efficiently. She has served as registrar for those seeking working papers and has helped students, staff, and faculty as they pick their way through the bureaucracy of a suburban high school. We hate to see her go, but we wish her much happiness in her retirement. Freddie? Bill Goldfarb came to Rye as an industrial arts teacher in 1966. He has a Bachelor of Science and a Master's in Educational and Vocational Guidance from New York University. Bill has served over the years as industrial arts teacher, coordinator of the Educational Media Services, and as industrial arts chairperson. In addition to serving the students of Rye High School well over the years, he has been active and of service to his fellow teachers through chairing the Welfare Committee that oversees the welfare benefits of all district employees. Bill and his wife, Janet, plan to travel across the country in their 31-foot trailer upon his retirement, and we wish them happiness in this endeavor as we all envy them that experience. Thank you, Bill, and good luck. On behalf of the Rye community, the faculty here assembled today, and the student body of Rye High School, we thank each of you for your service and commitment to this community and its children over the years. Thank you very much. Now I'd like to ask Mr. David Wickstead to come forward. David? This year we have a special treat. A year ago, I introduced Dave Wickstead to the class of 1986 at their graduation ceremony as Rye's Teacher of the Year. Since that date, Dave went on to become the New York State Teacher of the Year, an honor conferred on him in late September. Dave Wickstead began his teaching career in 1962 after serving 5 years on active duty with the U.S. Navy. He has taught in the New York City Public Schools, in Uniondale, Long Island, and at the Portchester Public Schools, just up the street, before coming to Rye in 1972. He is a dedicated teacher who epitomizes excellence in the classroom, a dedicated professional who has made this school and community proud of the recognition he has garnered statewide. Dave has given speeches this year at countless functions for school boards, teacher associations, scholars' dinners, to name but a few. I've been told that just last night he was invited back to the parochial school he attended in New York City, St. Elizabeth's, to inspire students and teachers with his insight and expertise. It is only fitting that Dave deliver the faculty address to this class of 1987, who bears him so much love and affection for this great teacher. Dave?
Thank you very much. That speech last night did more to inspire me than I'm afraid I did to inspire them. That's where I graduated 40 years ago, and as I told many of my colleagues up here, I stood in front of a group of Hispanic children, all immigrants, all reading above grade level, all headed to high school and college. All of their parents in the back, immigrants, both people from the Caribbean, looking at their children, saw the promise of America. Our society has many imperfections, we all know that, but that is not one of them. That is our glory. And what I saw last night was once again the glory that I lived 40 years ago, and I saw it again in those Hispanic children. I've been proud to represent Rye and my colleagues. Kennedy often said that success has many sponsors. It is true that if I've had any success, it's because of the success of my colleagues, the success of the community in Rye, the parents in Rye, and of course, above all else, the students. Who else? I've been proud to go around the state and tell them that I'm from Rye, New York. As Barry Farnham said, the home of the Garnet and Black, but a wonderful community that I've been proud to serve for 15 years. It's been my privilege and my honor. When an American history teacher wants to say something special to a special group of young people, he goes to America's finest intelligence, Thomas Jefferson. He goes back 200 years to that famous declaration, and he paraphrases in part that when in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people, the class of 1987, to separate themselves from another people, the faculty of Rye High School, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that you will be equal to the challenges you set for yourself in life, and that those challenges will be to seek opportunities to advance the rich diversity of this society, seeing every individual as worthy of special importance and worth, every individual precious and valuable and capable of making a difference, that you will live a life of decency, dignity, conscience, and character, that understanding that this life is fragile and limited on this humble little planet, and that the fullest expression of a life well lived resides in an individual's positive response to your own standards of excellence and not those of others. We hold the truth that liberty to make choices will find you rejecting the pervasive norm in many areas of our society that reflect an exploitive and manipulative life, for a life reflecting the highest ethical and moral standards, attempting, as Truman, quoting Mark Twain, said, always try to do the right thing. You'll gratify a few and you'll astonish all the rest. We urge you to astonish all the rest. In pursuit of one's own happiness, we feel that you will contribute to advancing the happiness of the total community, so that those who are perhaps less endowed as yourselves will gain the benefit of your gifts and your performance. you will see that your well-being and your happiness is inexorably intertwined with the happiness of the total society. The feeling of physical togetherness you have right now, the physical contact and unity you have with each other, can never be matched again after today. In a few moments, you'll separate and go your separate ways. The only way you can connect with yourselves again is in a spiritual sense, in your commitment to the values I've just cited that separate you as a class. We know that people, years from now, will say, who are these special people? In distant places, in distant parts of this nation and this globe, they will say, who are they? Those who elevate the community by their presence, who provide a standard of right behavior and conduct that provides a measure for all, that seeks to advance the interest of others simultaneous with their own interests, who truly understand that every individual is worthy of value and esteem and see every experience as an opportunity to promote the well-being of us all. They can come back to us, the faculty of Rye High School, and we will tell them who you are. You are the splendid, excellent, spirited class of 1987, in whom we place our pride, our confidence, our hope, and who have our unabiding love. God bless you all. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wickstead. I'd like to ask Ms. Susan Harris to please come to the podium. Have this up for you. See if we can get this over the hat. Okay. Okay. At this time, I have the distinct pleasure of introducing to you this year's salutatorian, Susan Harris. Susan is the daughter of John and Ellen Harris of 91 Dogwood Lane in Rye, New York, and this year, I believe, somewhere in England. She is graduating magna cum laude, ranking second in her class with an overall average of 97.85 for her 4 years. She was selected She was elected to the National Honor Society by the faculty in her junior year and was named as a National Merit semifinalist in the 1986-87 school year. During her junior year, Susan was the recipient of the National College Teachers of English Achievement Award in writing. Susan is an exceptionally bright and articulate young lady with a wide range of talents and abilities. Susan has been a serious student and a valued contributor to the extracurricular life of Rye High School. She's been active in the school band, a writer for our school newspaper, the Garnet and Black, and played in a number of pit orchestras for our student musical productions. She has served as the Rye Youth, she has served the Rye Youth Council and her fellow students as a peer counselor. In addition, she's been an active participant in the Rye School of Dance. Susan's greatest gift and contribution is her creativity and use of language. She is a gifted writer who works hard at perfecting her craft. Her native intelligence and personal creativity are evident in her literary and artistic contributions to the Zephyr, where she serves as our literary editor. Her literary leadership and writing selections are a major reason for the success of this student publication. You need only read any of Susan's selections in this year's Zephyr, such as Waking, or Echo's Song, or Falling, or Coming of Age in Virginia, to appreciate the talent of this young yet accomplished writer. Susan will attend Yale University this fall, where she plans to major in English. Look for Susan Harris to be an accomplished author and literary figure in the years to come. Please welcome Susan Harris. You got your speech?
Thank you, Mr. Flood. I hope I can live up to the PR. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for coming on this sunny day no one was expecting at all. I wasn't really excited when I found out my rank because I knew that I'd eventually have to be up here doing this. And the closer the time got, the more I wished I'd slumped just a little further, particularly as I had no idea what a salutatorian was supposed to talk about. So I asked a number of people what salutatorians are supposed to say, hoping that if I could just come up with a topic, I would be able to put together something that wasn't too embarrassing and wouldn't be outclassed by Dave Donnelly's closing remarks. Among those I asked who knew what a salutatorian was, the most frequent response was the salutatorian talks about the past and the valedictorian talks about the future, or alternatively, the salutatorian is funny. So much for narrowing it down. I was a little disappointed and almost regretted not making that extra little effort to pass calculus. After all, how was I going to be stirring and inspirational, which apparently graduates are supposed to be, when all I was doing was looking back? Wasn't the whole point of graduation to look forward to the future? Isn't that why, in a bizarre linguistic twist, they call these things commencement exercises? What place could the past have here? I thought about it. All of us here have one thing in common. A sizable chunk of the last 4 years of our past has been spent inside Rye High School. No matter who we are going to take Rye High with us to wherever we go from here. We will have these 4 years for the rest of our lives, even if they are buried, obscured, or distorted in our memory. We cannot avoid carrying these years to college, to work, to our marriages and friendships. We cannot help passing them on to our children. And it is for this reason that we look back, for this reason that looking back is looking forward. We have to look back in order to understand. We have to review our stay here with all its achievements and disappointments. Everyone has had some of both. All of us have seen some of our favorite dreams and expectations die. But then again, all of us have succeeded in ways we never envisioned. We have survived things we thought would kill us. APs, SATs, cafeteria food, another year with Mr. Kelly and his handwriting, and been brought low by unexpected assailants such as health, cut notices, and of course English Lit. We've escaped without... Oh, Miss Grumman's going to kill me. We've escaped without detention from Mr. Cohen's office, only to be nailed by the parking authorities. But we're here, and that's an achievement in itself. The years we spent here are widely touted as the best years of our lives, an expression that disturbs many of us. Is it really all downhill from here? Not necessarily. When we are older and we look back, these years will appear to us through a golden haze, a mist that softens them, makes them indistinct and possibly kinder. But it is important for us to look at our high school years now for what they are, and to understand what they mean to us. For some of us, they really will be the best years of our lives. We will retain fond memories of a carefree adolescence that will blur into a dream of unpunished class cuts, parties, and friends. Others will leave this school and this time of our lives with a sigh of relief, happy in the promise we have been made of better things to come. Lately, our teachers have been warning of us if some of us hadn't already left. And some of us may never leave at all. Every one of us will take a different Rye High School with him. And because of this, each of us must see how he feels about his personal high school. Did we have fun here? What, if anything, did we learn? What we choose to remember will help answer that. If we remember 9th grade English and the first time we were called cement heads, it may be because it was only later that we realized we didn't know everything. If we remember the incredible hassle surrounding Halloween '86, it may be because of what it taught us about negotiations. We will remember the soda machine because of what it taught us about American technology. We will remember the teachers, either because they showed us how to find joy in learning, or because they never did notice that our reports came out of Cliff Notes. Our memories will either prompt us to continue seeking and finding that joy, or to buy stock in the Monarch Publishing Company. We will remember the GO campaigns and other endeavors that taught us, sometimes painfully, who our friends were, and carry that memory into the politics of our future lives. We will remember the people we knew, each of whom taught us something, something that will sit in the backs of our minds, exerting its subtle influence on our actions. What are we taking away, and how will it shape what is to come? Each of us will have to answer these questions alone, but it is important to raise them. Whether you want to wrap your life up in your high school memories, or whether you want to cut them out of you and cast them away, or whether, like most of us, you are going to let them fade into semi-darkness, you must understand them. Our past is always with us, especially when we are no longer aware that it is looking over our shoulders. And it is important to see clearly the impressions that were made here, to know about the conclusions that we reach that will color our views from here on in. It was brought to my attention not too long ago that our class represents the last generation that was born in the 60s. This frightens people. The 60s are connected with radicalism, idealism, cause and change, and our generation is forever linked with materialism, cynicism, and investment banking. For many of us, our experiences here seem to be pointing us toward an early relinquishing of dreams to prefigure the swift disillusionment of a generation already growing old. Perhaps we are prevented from being idealists because we know what the 60s graduates did not, that in 20 years, maybe less for some of us, we are going to be the establishment. But there was and is a reason for idealism, even if idealism does not last. If we leave this place determined to create in our society a little more freedom for the individual, you see I'm getting to the stirring inspirational bit anyway, and if we follow that through, the struggle will change us, the next establishment. We may not be able to prevent the setup of the next system, but we can make it a better system, a less cruel system, and we can raise children that will strive to break the restrictions we could not help making. We can't do that if our past has taught us that such attempts are doomed to failure. Our hopes rest on the presumption that, in coming through Rye High School, somewhere along the line, we acquired the desire and the ability to fight for change for the better. I don't think our hopes are necessarily in vain. So, have I talked about the past or the future? I can't really tell. It may be impossible to separate the two. Some view the future as past that hasn't happened yet, and it's true that the future always becomes the past. But if there is a message in this rambling speech, and it may be doubtful, it is that a clearer understanding of the past can help prevent the past from becoming the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. I'd like to call Joey King to come forward, please. At this time, I would like to introduce Joe King, president of the senior class, and ask him to make the class presentation. Joe has been an excellent student at Rye High School and a standout athlete throughout his 4-year school career. This year, Joe was honored by the Westchester chapter of the National Football Foundation and Hall of Fame as a member of the Golden Dozen, one of the 12 scholar athletes honored annually from the 75 high schools in the Lower Hudson region. In addition, he received a scholarship from that organization. But as class president, he's here for another reason. Joe will attend Franklin and Marshall College in the fall. Joe, would you please step to the mic?
Before I present the class gift, I have to present another gift to a lady who's put up with a lot over the last 4 years. 3 of them with Dave Donnelly as the president, and the last one with me. One's worse than the other. But the thing that's impressed me the most about her was a few weeks ago at the prom when I got to dance with her a little bit. She's good.
Oh, my God. Thank you. Good.
Ladies and gentlemen, special guests, family, friends, and fellow graduates, on behalf of the class of 1987, I would like to officially present our gift to the school. It is a large granite sign imprinted with Rye High School, home of the Garnets. It will be placed next to the flagpole on the corner of Milton and Parsons Street. To my classmates, I offer no advice. We have received far more than our share over our 4 years here. To the teachers and the administration, first, I thank them for putting up with us. Secondly, I leave a bit of a warning. If next year you notice the school seems a little different, a little less happy, a little less exciting, or a little less personal, it's not your imagination. You're losing a great bunch of kids. I know, they've been my friends for a long time.
It is my pleasure to accept this gift on behalf of the Board of Ed, the staff, administration, and the teachers, the students to come. It too will be a monument to remind us of that garnered pride so well illustrated and captured in your yearbook, a living monument. It's a pleasure for me to accept this visible gift. It's difficult at times to accept gifts which we don't ordinarily see. For instance, the mustard dispenser underneath the stands which you're seated on. So I'm very happy. When you drive by, you'll have this visible reminder of this fantastic class. Thank you very much.
I just want to pause for a moment. Thank you, Mr. Cohen, for that acceptance, and Joe for the gift. And as I introduced Joe as a member of the Golden Dozen, it put me in mind of a graduate who's sitting out here, graduated in 1982, who we're all very proud of. I'd like to ask him to stand for a minute. B.J. Surhoff of the Milwaukee Brewers. B.J., where are you? B.J., stand up, please. B.J. was a member of the Golden Dozen as well and has certainly gone on to great things in athletics. We're delighted to have him. I'd like to now call Stephanie Russo forward, please. Got your speech? I'll do this afterwards, all right? It's my pleasure to introduce this year's valedictorian, Stephanie LaRusso. Stephanie is the daughter of Patrick and Diane LaRusso, who reside at 2 Flagler Drive, Rye, New York. Stephanie will graduate summa cum laude, ranking #1 in a class of 186 students with an overall average of 99.74. I'm trying to figure out what she got wrong. Stephanie was elected to the National Honor Society by the faculty in her junior year. She was named a National Merit Finalist in the 1986-87 competition. She was the recipient this year of the Enrico Fermi Science Award, and she received a VNA, Visiting Nurses Association Scholarship, awarded at our Senior Recognition Assembly. Stephanie accelerated and completed some of her 4-year requirements as early as her junior year. During her senior year, in addition to studying AP Calculus, AP Physics, and AP French at Rye High School, she studied the revolution in Western thought at SUNY Purchase and molecular biology at Columbia University. Stephanie will attend Princeton University next September. Stephanie has been active in school activities and affairs. She's been active in our theater program and our choral program at Rye High. She's been a representative to our student council and has studied ballet and piano privately for over 12 years now. She's been a tutor for her fellow students, a volunteer for the American Cancer Society, and worked with the Safe Rides program. She's been active as a piano accompanist in the choral program, as well as a participant in the vocal ensemble and handbell choir. This year, her major interest has been the school yearbook, The Stagecoach, and has served as co-editor of the yearbook, which will preserve a lifetime of memories for her fellow students assembled here. Stephanie is a bright, articulate, and enchanting young lady who personifies excellence. Both the faculty and I wish her well in her future studies, and I am delighted to introduce her to you and let her give the valedictory address.
Good afternoon, family and friends. teachers, administrators, and fellow graduates. Today, the class of 1987 of Rye High School is assembled for perhaps the last time. From this point, our lives will take new directions as we go out to make our own marks on the world. Though our plans for the future may vary, today's graduates all share a meaningful past in Rye. Whether we have been going to school in Rye since day one of kindergarten, or we have just arrived for senior year, we appreciate that each of our experiences here has been special. Rye High School has given us a strong education, a sense of community, and innumerable opportunities for our development. The strong backgrounds we have acquired here will facilitate our departure from high school and transition into a new phase of our lives. Yet leaving Rye will not be easy. Without a doubt, it will be most difficult to leave our families, friends, and teachers, the people who have been such an integral part of our daily lives. These people have been an important motivating force behind our learning, both in and out of the classroom. They have taught us to care for others through their constant care and attention for us. And they have instilled within us a confidence that enables us to be bold in the face of new challenges. In the future, our personal satisfaction will depend on the effort we put forth to meet these new challenges. In working to achieve to our full potential, it is our responsibility to discover where our talents lie and to share them with all humanity. We each have a gift to offer to the world. Whatever we choose to share, whether it be a cure for AIDS that saves thousands of lives or an expression of love that mends the broken heart of one child, our contribution is invaluable. Today, the class of 1987 says goodbye to Rye High School, but we are not saying farewell. What we have learned in Rye will shape our futures, and these people and this place will always be a part of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. Mr. McGrath, would you join me here at the podium? At this time, I have the pleasure of presenting to you the graduating class of 1987. This commencement marks the beginning of a new life for these students as they go out into the world to test their abilities and contribute to the future of this nation. It has been a real pleasure getting to know these young adults as they have matured over these last 6 years. They are an outstanding and remarkable group of young people, and Rye High and this community can take great pride in their development and accomplishments. To you, the graduates of the class of 1987, Rye High School has been a safe haven for you to discover who you are and what you want to become. This country's future is in your hands. It is my hope that the lessons you have learned growing up in Rye will have prepared you to face the challenges in the larger world. This school and community have nurtured your development, and we sincerely hope that you will give of yourself and contribute to this world in an effort to make it a better place for us all to live in. You, the class of 1987, have a special responsibility. I hope that each of you will contribute your energy and effort in your new life to whatever community you settle in the hope that you can give to another generation of young people what this community has given to you. You have a great deal to offer the world. You must always remember that every individual can make a difference. So, Mr. McGrath, on behalf of the faculty, staff, and administration of Rye High School assembled here, it is with great pleasure and pride that I present to you the Rye High School graduating class of 1987. Stand. Stand. Please be seated.
When the proceedings started, about 10% of the programs were being fanned, and now we're up to about 60%, so we will be quick. I followed Susan Harris around asking people questions about what I was supposed to also speak about. So when I sat down to prepare my remarks, I struggled to find the right theme. besides being Jennifer's father, I happen to be board president, and as board president, I'm expected to give inspirational addresses that will be remembered at least until the time it takes to get to the reception over there. The Constitution, I figured, would be an excellent theme, this being the 200th anniversary. And this document embodies the fundamental principles upon which this republic is conducted. However, I have a limited time, and according to several interested parties, even less is preferred. So I thought I would look at the preamble to the Constitution. That's only one paragraph. Well, then I thought maybe I'll look at one phrase within the preamble, and I came up with which promote the general welfare. Now, here's one that an area of inspiration that I could speak on, and all hopefully would listen with great anticipation to my every word. So now I had the theme, then came the homework. I again followed Susan around asking questions, but I was asking faculty members, administrators, and staff personnel how they would describe you, the class of 1987. It was, I felt, important to get feelings other than my own, biased that it is, about your class. After approaching the first teacher and receiving, "Oh, God help me," the comments did improve. They were spirited, cohesive, persevering, sense of family, energetic, lovable, puzzling, wonderful, a high degree of sensitivity, creative, resilient. Well, these thoughts did corroborate my feelings, so it was quite evident from these testimonies that you don't need any inspiration from me. You are the inspiration. As individuals and as a class, you have promoted the general welfare of your school and the Rye community as well. Through your unusual involvement in so many school and community activities, you have made a difference. Whether it was through your activities in the GO, Safe Rides, leadership, peer networking, the pit, peer counseling, performing arts, the toy drive, athletic competition, Garnet Pride, the list goes on. You have left your mark on Rye. I can throw away all the cliches that are given at any commencement ceremony. You are a class of distinction. You are a class of caring human beings. You are a class of concerned citizens. You are a class with class. And you are a class that we are very, very proud of. There is one quote from a faculty member who happens to be a guiding influence on many of you that I would like to repeat. The quote: "This class is dedicated, dependable, and in touch with each other's thoughts and opinions. They have the ability to argue positions, make choices, initiate change." Lastly, she noted, "They create an impact on the school, the community, and all who come in contact with this class as a whole." It would be beneficial, if not selfish, if we could keep all of you in our community. However, that can't and shouldn't happen. Now you move on, going in different directions to pursue individual goals. We will miss you. My only hope is that you continue to stay involved wherever you go, to make that difference, and to continue to promote the general welfare. Enjoy your life, and Godspeed.
The time has come to grant the diplomas. Mr. McGrath, would you please take your place out front? Mr. Barrett, will you assist? Faculty marshals, will you please assist us in bringing the graduates to the podium? We're going to start on this side, Jack. Jack, this side first. The heart of our program really is, or should be, the awarding of a diploma to each student. And I'm going to call each graduate forward. Mr. McGrath is going to present the diploma, and we're going to have a photographer here taking a picture of each and every graduate receiving the diploma. So for those of you with the camera jockeying, please know you'll be contacted with an opportunity to purchase one of these. Stephanie Elise LaRusso. Susan Cannon Harris. Jim, would you just help the photographer, have her step out a little bit. Amy Thrasher. Benjamin Lee Coleman. Tiffany Ann Cook. Julie M. Ruggiero. Matthew E. Edelman will be presented by Mr. Edelman, former board member. Emily Ann Nash. Jordan Michael Westerman. Michael S. Womand. Christopher M. Peak. Edward Allen Lloyd. Elise Jill Rodman. Kevin Charles McMahon, Jr. Lauren Latkaney. Danielle Cara Rudolph. Kelly Ann Mulvoy. Tammy Zell Rosenthal. Maria Marta Efliel Costa. Sarah Ellen Adams, presented by Mrs. Adams. Thomas Adonisio. Adela Allende. Jean-Claude Amitié. Elizabeth Marie Anderson. Lars Peter Anderson. Regina Angelello. Georgi Arturo Arce. Thomas M. Armas. Jennifer April Aaron. Tushar Atre. William J. August. Michael C. Bach. Elizabeth Rita Badia. Maria Lena Ballantoni. Louise M. Bastone. Magali E. Batres. Nathan Beck. Jordan E. Blackman. Rachel Raina Bluestein. Melissa Ann Bodner. Shauna Brennan. Tony E. Brent. Peter D. Bringman. Alexia Brunette. Matthew Carpinello. Pamela Ann Cassano. Christine M. Cassetta. Sean Matthew Cassidy. Andrew J. Serbone. Peter W. Childs. Susan J. Clark. Thomas Michael Cotaspoti. Amy Elizabeth Corvo. Jean Elizabeth Cummings. Celine A. Cunningham. Laura Jane Cunningham. John DeMarco. Holly Ann Devine. William Bryce Diedrich. David Ross Donnelly. Colleen Patricia Dratty. Catherine Ann Duffy. Kim M. Eggers. Robert Anthony Essex. Marcella F. Feldstein. Colette Marie Fisher. Andrea Foge. Frank Gadaletta. Kimball M. Gallup. Linda J. Geiteman. Salvador Gilio. Gail M. Gepfert. Gabrielle R. Goldstein. Tracy Gagne. Carrie A. Haggerty. Claudio M. Hahn. John G. Haley. Roy Haney. Matthew James Harrigan. Sandra J. Harris. Daria L. Hastner. Colin S. Henney. Howard B. Heil, Jr. Elizabeth A. B. Horseman. Gunnar D. Huber. Thomas Arnold Alva Hughes. Linda S. Hushard. Sean P. Jacobs. Robert S. J. Donald William Scott Johnson. Amy K. Johnston. Asako Kawashima. Tracy Ann Keegan. Allison Lara Kennedy. Mark Anthony Kennedy. Finola Kenny. Alice Christoph Kiebert. Joseph N. King. Natasha Anna Krauth. Mark Ruggles Langmuir. Joseph A. Lecce. Micah Audrey Lindblom. Alicia Jean Lovett. Andrew Carl Luckhart. Priscilla Ann McGuire. Juan Pablo Maldonado. Dirk Max Minelski. Deirdre B. Mannion. Scott J. Mansfield. Nicole Markowitz. Thomas W. Marlino. Michio Maruhashi. Holly Diane Machiro. Meg L. McCormick. John E. F. McDermott. Paula Mae McFarland. Very special. Jennifer Kathleen McGrath. Stephen V. McKenna. David Elliott Mermelstein. John Paul Moshe. Doreen Marie Malloy. Noyuki Mori. Robert John Maroney. Caroline Grace Ann Mosier. Wendy E. Moxie. Gota Mizumi. Michael J. Mueller. Benjamin C. Murphy McCrae. David Mark Nass. Gen Numaguchi. Brian Vincent O'Mara. Pilar M. Ordonez. Stephen Mark Palestine. Valeria Paz. Robin W. Peck. Carol Ann Platt. Kathleen Bridget Pope. Christopher L. Quinson. Scott Alexander Radcliffe. Christopher Mason Randall. Michael Grant Risen. Barbara Lauren Reynolds. Yelka M. Ricci. Jonathan Lance Reese. Wendy Ann Robbins. Ricardo C. Rodriguez. Monica M. Ryan. Christopher Sayer. Charlene Senna. Kenneth L. Shealy. Dawn Sasha. Lisa Kathleen Scully. Michelle Scully. Justine Shapiro. Christine M.H. Sievers. Andrew Brad Small. Charles J. Speece. Nicholas J. Stavrides. Christopher Suarino. Ryutaro Seguro. Mark J. Surhoff. Hiroki Takashima. Suriato Tanto. Louise C. Turgeson. John J. Thompson. Tracy Ann Tobin. Sandra D. Vicenti. George? Kathy Ronan come? Kathy Ronan here? Mark H. Weintraub. Bart Alexander Westerink. Kristen Murch White. Marianne Carol White. Maureen Susan Wickham. Alex Wickland. Kevin David Weiler. Excuse me, Kevin David Winter.
Now comes the Weiler.
David M. Weiler. Kiku Yamaguchi. Alejandro Yanez. Robert David Zenenberg. I think so. We had one more graduate who couldn't be with us today, Kathy Ronan. I don't know if she's in the audience. Is Kathy here? Afraid not. She's just been operated on. But Kathy Ronan was also a graduate of this class. Let's have a hand for Kathy. I'd like to call on Reverend Edward Johnston to give the benediction, please. Please stand.
Let us pray. Send them into life, O God, with their banners flying and their arms outreaching with eagerness to all things that are good and great. Grant that they may never be discouraged and never be afraid, knowing that you are the captain of their ship and the master of their souls. May God bless them all. Amen.
Thank you. Will the graduates remain standing, please? Will the audience remain in their seats until the graduates have left the field? Thank you all for coming on this day. There is refreshments provided by the Parents Organization immediately following our recessional. Please. I'd like to, if I could get your attention for a moment, I'd like to welcome everybody here to the dedication of this lovely gift that was provided by the class of 1987. I'd like to introduce a few people that are here with us today. Barbara Childs, on my left, to help coordinate this whole event. Dr. Barry Farnham, our superintendent of schools. Yeah, you wave at the camera. Bill Barrett, the assistant superintendent. Charlie Norshield, who has been a class advisor. I don't think you're ever a class advisor of this class. You've had the privilege of doing this often. That was Mrs. Flanagan. Ellen Adams, member of the Board of Education. Would you step forward, Ellen? Good. Mr. Ed McCullough, who we'll see a little more of later. Mr. McCullough was very instrumental in getting this erected, and he's a member of the community and very supportive of this project. Mr. George Cohen, Dean of Students. Margaret Flanagan. Margaret, come on up. Your class advisor. And the guiding force, I would dare say, over the years. David, I think Donnelly is here today. I'll ask David to step forward and speak. David was an officer for 3 years and was active in the GO in his last year, and I think is going to do the honors today. David, would you come forward and stay with Ms. Flanagan and Mr. Cohen?
Thank you, Mr. Flood. It is indeed quite a pleasure to see all of you again. I'd like to thank all of the, thank you all for coming, especially the class of 87 members. Due to my great respect and admiration of my colleagues, I must say that I was moved when implored to make this presentation. It is quite an honor to act as spokesman for such a great bunch of people. It is certainly ironic that the class of 87 has donated such an attractive and highly visible gift to the school. As Joseph King, our senior class president and athletic valedictorian, put it, we like to think that we are unique, a bit more cohesive, and special as a class. Hence, it comes as no surprise to us to visit our school, make a legal turn, and see our legacy. It is our class that has the satisfaction of knowing that this fortress of freedom, which pays tribute to the school and community, will still be standing millions of years from now, regardless of vandalism, an ice age, or even a bulldozer. It should be noted that this monument did not just appear, rather it is the culmination of many hours of work by a myriad of people, all united by a common bond. It is also a shame that an image of Mrs. Flanagan is not captured on the rock itself. For not only would it enhance the aesthetic beauty, but also serve as a reminder of her hard work and unparalleled dedication, without which we would not be here today. If I were to ask any of you to tell me what happened on December 22nd of last year, I'm sure, to Rye High School, I'm sure that not many of you could give me an answer. Well, I don't know either. But I do know what's happening on December 22nd, 1987, and I know that I will remember it for years to come. Today does not mark the end of 1987, but the beginning of our class on a journey through life. No matter where we go, a part of us, and everyone who has taught or learned, or even the administrators, everyone who has been at Rye High School is forever embedded within this stone. Let this, Rye's Gibraltar, make the greatest campus known, and let every stray motorist, citizen of Rye, visitor, or even a desert Bedouin be aware of our commitment to excellence. And now, I would like to take this opportunity to show our class's commitment to non-alcoholic beverages. You'll note sparkling cider. I would like to christen this rock, and at the same time present it to our school in the form of Mr. Cohen. May I, Mr. Cohen?
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Ready enough crack.
Take the shot.
Get the side.
Hey, the pillar. The pillar. Hey, the pillar.
David, the pillar.
The pillar, not the stone. There we go.
You got a cleanup crew?
Oh, it does smell like apple juice.
Thank you very much, David. That's perhaps the lengthiest presentation gift I've ever heard. It is with great pleasure that I accept this outstanding gift from your class. You and your advisor are to be congratulated for such a generous gift. This monument testifies in a living manner to your pride in and loyalty to your school, and sets an example for classes following you to imitate. Finally, your gift will be appreciated by many more classes yet to complete their high school education. And unlike so many gifts in the past, this gift has already stirred feelings of pride and a sense of family in all those students who have graduated from Rye High School over the years. The monument clearly identifies this beautiful campus as the home of the Garnets, and clearly states that the class of 1987 will also be clearly identified as a class remarkable for its pride and loyalty to Rye High School. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you, George. Thank you, David. I don't know how I'm surviving without the announcements being read by David Donnelly. And I was just reminded what a treat it was to have him down there all those years. Someone else we really should thank today. Your class has done a terrific job. You spent over $3,000 in erecting this particular monument, if you will, Mr. Cohen, but I tend to think of it as a way of identifying the school. We really appreciate it. And we appreciate you earmarking $3,000 of your money to erect this. I'd like to thank Mr. McCullough. Mr. McCullough, would you come forward, please? And I would like to just say a thank you from the high school. Mr. McCullough is the one who worked with the students in erecting this. He worked with the stonemason. He brought his own stonemasons in here. They landscaped this. There's a foundation here that goes down about 6 feet, I think. It's reinforced concrete, and it's really a nice piece of work. And believe me, the amount of money that we did pay to have this done in no way compensates Mr. McCullough for all the work and effort and energy that he put in. So I think, in a way, he's an honorary member of the class of '87, although most of you don't quite look his age yet. But he did expend a lot of effort, and we do appreciate it. We want to thank you very much. Thank you. All right? Dr. Farnham, would you like to make any comments?
I think you said it all. Thank you.
We miss all of you students. I didn't realize how much until you all showed up today. But we will never forget not only the fine gift, but the gift you gave us of the 6 years you spent at this high school. Thank you for being with us today, and thank you for all those good years. Thanks for coming. Oh, we have a little cookie and coffee reception adjacent to my office set up, if you'd like to come in and join us. Okay?